He wasn't arrested for breaking the law. He was arrested for who he dared to love. Welcome back to the Untold Struggles, the place where hidden battles are revealed and voices too often silenced are finally heard. Today's story will shake you to your core. It's about a black teenager underestimated, mistreated, and humiliated for who he dared to love. But what begins in injustice ends in a shocking reversal of power. Stay with us until the very end, because justice is never easy, but when it comes, it hits hard. It was supposed to be just another Friday night in Maplewood, a small suburban town with wide streets, picket fences, and secrets buried deeper than roots. Deshaun Miller, 17 years old, walked out of the movie theater with a smile stretching across his face. He was tall, lanky, with sharp eyes that carried both dreams and caution. Beside him walked Samantha Hayes, 16, a quiet girl with blonde hair that caught the glow of the streetlights. She was laughing at something he'd said, clutching his arm like they were the only two people in the world. For them, it wasn't about race. It wasn't about breaking rules. It was about two kids daring to love where the world told them they couldn't. But not everyone saw it that way. As they crossed the parking lot, headlights flared. A police cruiser rolled up, sirens off, lights glaring like an interrogation. Officer Gregory Stone, a Maplewood cop with a reputation for keeping people in their place, stepped out. Broad shoulders, cold eyes, a smirk that dripped with authority abused. "What do we have here?" he drawled, eyes scanning Deshaun with disdain. "You bothering this young lady?" Samantha stepped forward quickly. "He's not bothering me. He's my boyfriend." The word boyfriend seemed to slice the air. Officer Stone's face twisted. He looked at Samantha, then back at Deshaun. "Her boyfriend?" He laughed, a low, bitter sound. "No, not in my town." Before Deshaun could speak, Stone shoved him against the hood of the cruiser. The metal was cold, biting into his skin. Samantha screamed. "Stop! He didn't do anything." But the cuffs clicked shut. And in that moment, Deshaun knew, this wasn't about law. This was about power. The ride to the station was silent, except for Officer Stone's occasional chuckle. "You think you're special, huh? Walking around here with her on your arm like you belong? Let me tell you something, boy, you don't belong." Every word stung. But Deshaun bit his tongue. His father once told him, sometimes silence is the loudest weapon. At the station, Stone marched him inside like a trophy. The other officers watched, some smirking, some looking away. None spoke up. He was thrown into a holding cell, no charges explained, no lawyer called. Just locked away, like a criminal for daring to love the wrong girl. Meanwhile, Samantha was dragged home, her parents furious, shouting about shame, reputation, and the company she keeps. But Samantha wasn't the kind to fold. That night, she pulled out her phone. She had filmed everything, the stop, the shove, the arrest. And she knew exactly what she had to do. The video hit social media like wildfire. Millions watched as Officer Stone humiliated Deshaun. The hashtag spread. Hashtag justice for Deshaun. Hashtag love is not a crime. Hashtag Maplewood exposed. By morning, the town that prided itself on quiet respectability was on the national stage. Parents whispered. Students rallied. Reporters filled the streets. Deshaun was released, but not with an apology. Instead, the chief of police, under pressure, muttered, "It's under investigation." But the damage was already done. Officer Stone, who had ruled Maplewood with intimidation for years, was now the hunted. Cameras followed him. Protesters called his name. And Deshaun, the kid they thought they could bury in silence, had become a symbol of resistance. The school cafeteria buzzed like a beehive. Deshaun walked in, head high, while whispers trailed behind him. For the first time, people weren't laughing at him. They were looking to him. But not everyone was supportive. Some students sneered, calling him a troublemaker. Others spread rumors that he had provoked the cop. Through it all, Samantha stood by his side. "Let them talk," she said. "The truth's already out there." And she was right. Civil rights groups descended on Maplewood. Lawyers volunteered. Celebrities tweeted their support. Officer Stone was suspended, pending investigation. The man who once swaggered with unchecked power now hid behind closed blinds. And Deshaun. He stood taller than ever. Weeks later, a hearing was held. The courtroom was packed, cameras flashing. Officer Stone sat at the defense table, jaw tight, eyes full of hatred. Across from him sat Deshawn, his mother gripping his hand, Samantha and her family, now reluctantly supportive, behind him. The evidence was undeniable. The video, the testimony, the pattern of Stone's behavior, long buried but now unearthed. When the gavel came down, the verdict was clear. Stone was guilty of misconduct, stripped of his badge, and facing federal charges. The courtroom erupted. For the first time, Deshawn felt justice wasn't just a word in history books. It was real, tangible. As they left, reporters swarmed him. One asked, "What do you want to say to Officer Stone?" Deshawn paused, then said quietly, "They tried to break me for loving. But love is stronger than hate. Always." The world cheered. But not everyone celebrated. That night, Deshawn returned home to find his window cracked open. On his desk sat an envelope. Inside was a single photo, Samantha, walking to school. On the back, in jagged handwriting, "This isn't over. She's next." Deshawn's hand shook. His victory had painted a target, not just on him, but on the girl he loved. He looked out into the street. A black pickup truck idled under the streetlight, headlights off. Watching. Deshawn whispered to himself, "If they think fear will stop me, they don't know who I am." The night was still. Too still. Deshawn stared at the photo in his trembling hands. Samantha, smiling, walking to school, with the words scrawled on the back, "She's next." Outside, the black pickup truck idled. Its headlights were off, but Deshawn could feel the eyes inside watching him. His mother's voice rang in his head, "Son, silence can be power, but there comes a time you gotta speak with more than words." That time had come. At school the next morning, Samantha noticed the dark circles under Deshawn's eyes. "What's wrong?" she whispered, pulling him aside. He hesitated, then showed her the photo. Her face went pale. "Deshawn, this is serious. You can't just ignore this." But Deshawn clenched his fists. "That's what they want. For us to run, to hide. I won't give them that." Samantha's hand shook. "But what if? What if it's more than threats? What if they come after me for real?" He looked her in the eye, steady. "Then they'll have to go through me first." That evening, Deshawn and his mother sat watching the news when a familiar face appeared on screen. Officer Gregory Stone. Despite being stripped of his badge, he was playing victim now, claiming he was set up by the media, that he was protecting the community. But worse, he wasn't alone. Behind him stood a group of men, former officers, old friends, and locals loyal to him. A new kind of power was forming in Maplewood, one even more dangerous than the badge he once carried. Deshawn's stomach turned. Stone wasn't finished. He was just getting started. 2 nights later, Deshawn walked Samantha home from a shift at the diner. The streets were quiet, too quiet. As they turned the corner, the black pickup appeared again. This time, it wasn't watching. It was chasing. Tires screeched. Doors flew open. 3 men jumped out, faces hidden, bats in their hands. "Run!" Deshawn shouted. Samantha bolted toward her house, but one of the men blocked her path. Deshawn charged forward, adrenaline surging. He wasn't a fighter by nature, but tonight he fought like a man with everything to lose. A fist connected with his jaw, but he swung back harder. He grabbed a bat mid-swing, wrestled it free, and forced the men back just long enough for Samantha to scream loud enough for neighbors to switch on porch lights. The attackers scattered, diving into the truck and speeding off. But before they disappeared, Deshawn caught a glimpse of the driver. It was Stone. The next day, Deshawn and Samantha met with attorney Lila Carter, a young lawyer with fire in her eyes. She had been following Deshawn's case since the beginning. "You're in deeper than you realize," she told him. "Stone isn't just angry. He's building something, a group, a movement, fueled by hate. And now he's targeting you to send a message." Deshawn's jaw tightened. "So what do we do? Call the cops. The same ones who let him get away with everything before." Lila leaned forward. "No. We go bigger. We take this to the state. To the press. We expose not just him, but everyone backing him." It was risky. Dangerous. But Deshawn knew it was the only way. Days later, a press conference was held outside Maplewood High. Deshawn stood at the podium, cameras flashing, Samantha and his mother by his side. He lifted the photo of Samantha, the one used to threaten her, and held her high. "This is what hate looks like," he said, voice steady. "But this is also what love looks like. And I'll never let hate win." The crowd erupted in cheers. The pressure grew. State officials announced an investigation into Officer Stone and his associates. For the first time, Stone looked cornered. But Stone wasn't the kind of man to lose quietly. That night, as Deshawn returned home, the door to his house stood slightly open. Inside, drawers were pulled out, papers scattered. Someone had been there. On his bed lay a single item, Samantha's necklace. She hadn't been home since work. She hadn't answered his calls. Deshawn's heart dropped. His hands trembled as he picked up the necklace. Stone hadn't just threatened anymore. He had made his move. Deshawn rushed outside, scanning the street. Then he saw it, the black pickup again, disappearing into the distance. Through the rear window, he swore he saw her, Samantha, struggling, crying out. "No!" Deshawn roared, sprinting after the truck until his legs burned. But the vehicle vanished into the night, leaving nothing but silence. He fell to his knees, clutching the necklace in his hand, his chest heaving. This wasn't about survival anymore. This was war. The screen fades to black. To be continued. Stone may have lost his badge, but now he's playing a darker game. Samantha has been taken, and Deshawn is running out of time. Do you think he can bring her back alive? Or will the senator's allies strike before justice arrives? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles, because every struggle deserves to be told.